So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Share Your Shine. And this is Marie Fertoni with Get Clients Everywhere and the best selling author of the amazing book called Inspiring Women Purpose, Power, and Passion in Professionalism. And I am here with one of the amazing, inspiring authors. Kathi Balasik is here from California. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Marie. It is such a privilege to be here, and I just can't tell you the depth of my gratitude for all your work and to be amongst these wonderful other authors. It's just a very humbling, joyous occasion for me. So thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. Well, I want to let our listeners know this has been like just a great project. And I've been interviewing the authors so that they can actually really have some more visibility because we assembled a really cool group of people. And Kathi and I met a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. And I worked with her, and she's helped me with some things. And I just listened to her life and her story and watched how accomplished she was and how she's really been committed to really providing education as a through line in her life and her business for many years. It's taken different turns and twists like all of ours has. And she's just really stellar. I remember always when I was working with her, I would always say she's like the thoroughbred, that's just got like all the absolute right ingredients. And this is actually her time. She's really had some extraordinary events in her life that have led her to this path. And Kathi, you talk about yourself as a grief recovery coach or a grief counseling coach. I'm not exactly sure the words that you're currently using because I know you've kind of morphed a little bit. Uh,
Yes.
tell the audience about you.
Okay. What I do, back to your question about, grief coaching or whatever, what I do is I'm more of a communication guide
Yeah.
to help people empathize and be grief literate with people who go through grief and loss because we truly don't know what to say. Nobody ever taught us the language of loss, and we're not good at it, and it's awkward. And we are in a world with a lot of sadness, loss, grief, and isolation and loneliness. And when we have the tools to know exactly what to say, what not to say, which questions to ask, and really how we can show up and share space with a person who is grieving. And so I sort of worked with some things and developed a language of the do's and don'ts and make it user friendly so we all can do this in every area of our life, whether it's personal, whether it's our family, neighbors, professional. So I believe in creating a grief literate world, and that's my
I
goal.
love that. That's a beautiful stand to have, in life. And like you said, there is lots of grief and sadness going on in a variety of ways for people. I think sometimes here we are in the month of December, so the holidays often drive things up like that for people. And what I can tell you is that people who have gone in and have downloaded the book, which is now, by the way, available on Kindle, not just the Kindle version, I mean, but on Amazon, not just the Kindle version, but the softcover book, and also on Barnes and Noble. So that's exciting. And several people have reached out to me and have really mentioned your chapter in particular that they really like because it's very universal. We can all relate. And I think what you provided in your story and in your gift are some very, very pragmatic tools. You didn't like choose to do that. Can you say a little bit about what spurred you on in all of that?
Yes. So, yes, I am a member of a club that nobody wants to belong to. I was widowed in my 30s, raising 5 children, and, really not knowing what to do. This was not the future I had planned. And so many people through counseling, through help, through community, really helped me and my family move forward and grow and learn to navigate and wear grief differently throughout my life, because you can't have love without grief, grief without love. It's the same thing. Because you have the depth of love for someone, they'll always be with you. And I knew, I'm an educator by that's my career. I teach at a university. I train new teachers, and I just love communicating, engaging. And I mean, it's so infectious to be around the next generation of educators. And I have that gift in my life daily. So I knew at some point I really wanted to take my experience in widowhood and grief and make changes for people, um, because so many people showed up for me. Many people couldn't. Many people didn't know how. I believe people mean well. They just don't have the tools to know what to say or know what to do, or afraid to do something because they don't want to make it worse. And so that's really what led me to this. After I raised my kids, I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And, I'm a go for it. I will, you know, I'm of the let's get on this bus. I'll go anywhere as long as it's forward. And so this is just where it began and why I do what I do.
And that's what I love. And so you can see that, speaking here to our listeners and our viewers, you can hear the passion of why that's important and that her stand for a grief literate world. I mean, that's just a very valiant attempt to something that will make a profound difference for all of us as we move through life. In our book, for those of you that have the book, I wrote an introduction, and then the next thing in the book is Kathy's chapter. It's right there, like, front and center. I remember the editors, they loved your chapter. Tell folks what the name of your chapter is, and so that we can highlight that for you as people listen and choose to get the book.
Okay. My chapter is called Teaching PE, Powerful Empathy. And it's very dear to me because I am a PE teacher.
Mhm.
I have taught people to enjoy the love of movement through my whole career. And play and movement and sports and athletics, they're for everyone. And I believe really early on in my career, I used to call it praise and encouragement,
Yeah,
PE. And
love that.
if we all felt better about ourselves and moving and staying healthy, and that activity wasn't privatized for people, I think we'd have a healthier, happier world. And so a lot of what I teach in the classroom with my students is how I lead my life and how I lead my business.
I love that.
Because if you're going to be grief literate, it's like empathy on steroids, basically.
No, that's a great way to take a look at it. I'm sitting here and over here, I'm like thinking, try not to cough, Marie, try not to cough, Marie, but it's like, hey, that's just where we are today.
Yes.
But, I love that you said that. It's like on steroids. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thought. You know, um, I was thinking of several people recently that have had a big loss in their life that has really impacted them, and to really make a little note to direct people to the book and to your chapter. It's very well written. It's very heartfelt. I love the fact that you teach PE. That is just so great. I remember the first time you shared that with me, I went, that is so great. Um, you know, um, the other piece is all of the authors have actually given a gift for those people that have bought the book or they want to learn more about it because they've seen a lot of things on social media. Not all of the authors, because some of them really don't have a business, but they've had a really full career. but you have a beautiful gift that's very practical and one that all of us can use. Tell us about the gift that you're offering, Kathy.
Okay, thank you, Marie. I have a free download of many pages of what to say and what not to say to grievers and which questions you could ask. So I almost script them for you. And many people think that they have to be authentic, and that wouldn't be authentic to say something like this. Well, it's authentic that we don't know what to say. So here's a couple sentences. Say them to a friend or write them in a condolence card. And these are things you could use in every scenario. So I believe I give this away a lot, and people always want more examples.
Yeah.
And so I'm I'm really excited about that. And it's basically scripting for life. I believe grief really is the last love language. And so we really need to know what to say.
Now y'all see why I think she's just so fabulous and why I invited her to be an inspiring woman. Because anytime I'm really with her, I'm inspired. I'm like, wow, because you go deeper. You really go into the heart of the matter. And I think that's something that's very important. It's not like a lot of platitudes, but you've been there, you had it really affect you personally, you knew what it was like. And then it's just now, the first time I really started working with Kathy, and Kathy spoke at WPDN, the Women's Professional Development Network, and was a hit at that event as well. And one of the things now is if somebody passes away that I know, even just casually, I know them maybe from Facebook or social media, and I see that, I try to send a personal note. Sometimes that when they acknowledge the person, I will always make an acknowledgement of their acknowledgement saying, thank you for sharing your parent or your father or your mother or your son like so beautifully. I got a chance to see it. And I was recently at a funeral where it was the whole funeral, all the messaging was just so heartfelt and personal. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was just amazing. And so I think that that's something that all of us can benefit from. So if you're listening today, if you're one of um, our book purchasers, book enjoyers, if you're listening as the possibility of getting this book or what's this book about, it's got 15 amazing, inspiring women that I have invited to really share that our path is not always easy, but many of the people in there are not what I would call the wannabes, just starting off in their career. Nothing wrong with that. But these are people that have had of strong accomplishments, a big through line through their life and their career. And I admire that. And I think that they show leadership, they show courage, even in times when it hasn't been easy, it hasn't been pleasant, it's not been convenient. We've all kind of stayed the course and really built something that is really great. So I'm very proud, Kathy, to have you as part of this book. What is the best way for our listeners and viewers to reach out to you if they'd like to have a conversation with you?
The best way to reach me is through my website, kathybalasik.com. And you can just get a hold of me through that. And then it's all in one place. I'm a fan of all in one place. Otherwise, I'm going to forget things. So I would
I understand
love
that.
anybody reaching out um, with questions, with anything they're interested in. And, I'm just here to serve and spread the word and help anybody who wants to learn some of these skills.
It's great. Kathy is a professional speaker, and she's available to speak at conferences and um, workshops and things like that, where she can get the word out easily. And again, so go to kathybalasik.com. And in this video, when we see the video and post that, what we'll do is we'll put the link to her gift inside that link as well. So, Kathy, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so proud of you and happy to have you be part of this project and go forth and spread some joy.
Thank you, Marie. It is such an honor. I feel like, the stars aligned when I had the opportunity to meet you. So much love to you.
Much love to you. The stars align. I love it. All righty. Thanks, everybody. Again, this is Marie Fertoni with Get Clients Everywhere and the leader of the Women's Professional Development Network. And we invite you to check out this book, Inspiring Women, Purpose, Power, and Passion in Professionalism. I sometimes get the P's mixed up and going around, but it's all the same good stuff. Maybe it's passion, power, and purpose. It doesn't matter what it is. It just matters that it's a great book, great authors, and you want to get to meet and to connect with all of them. Thanks for listening.